Welcome back to Grimsby as we gear up for a major Sky News election event tonight. There are going to be lots of vows and pledges from both leaders during the course of the evening, I'm sure, as they're grilled by a studio audience as well as our own Beth Rigby. Well, one promise that Labour has made is to fix 1 million extra potholes every year if they win the election, saying that they are the only party truly on the side of the drivers. Well, let's talk to the Shadow Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds. Jonathan, this is going to be a tough thing to convince voters of, that Labour is on the side of the drivers, when they look at Labour's Wales, where they have imposed 20-mile-an-hour speed limits on many towns, and also Labour's London, where they've imposed ULEZ and low traffic zones. Are you really on the side of drivers?
Well, good afternoon. Yes, we are. And, I'm sitting at home here in Staley Bridge where, owning a car, having access to a car is a hugely important thing for a lot of people. And I understand that as their MP, and I would understand that if I were to be the business secretary. I think, first of all, you've got a clear pledge on potholes from cancelling the A27 bypass from Labour today. We've also made pledges on things like we would like to investigate the market for car insurance, particularly how people's postcodes are used in there, and ask the Competitions and Market Authority to do that. And of course, most of all, we espouse the kind of industrial strategy that will make sure that people are able to work building the vehicles of the future still in the UK. And just on some of those specific points, I think, look, where local areas feel the need to regulate traffic, I think that's a decision those local areas should take. And on policies around clean air, look, what has to happen is that the government has to be an active part of managing that transition. What this Conservative government did is put legal duties on urban areas that tend to have Labour representation and refuse to assist them in that process. It's not about stopping people driving. It's obviously having cleaner vehicles, better air, that is consistent with supporting motorists if you get the policies right. I don't think we've seen that kind of holistic approach from the Conservative Party, and that's what we would be seeking to address.
So the cost of this, an extra 1 million potholes, where's the money going to come from to fill them all in?
Well, we will cancel the A27 bypass. That brings around about 320 millions of pounds, which we would then distribute annually, about 64 million pounds a year throughout the Parliament, and that would be given to local authorities to address potholes specifically, but also the wider road maintenance issues. You would ideally, of course, have a situation where the potholes don't exist to begin with.
So it's not necessarily going to be ring-fenced for potholes. You're just going to give it to local councils to spend on the roads generally.
It would be,
they may decide not to do that.
Well, we want the potholes addressed. I think a reasonable question we have had is, shouldn't local authorities ideally be maintaining roads in a way that doesn't see the creation of potholes to begin with? And that is a reasonable point. But it is to address those road issues, which are a huge issue for motorists. We've seen, to be honest, I think people, to be frank, see it as one of the most visible deteriorations in the public realm over the last 14 years. You can see it in many different areas. There's frankly nothing working in the UK as it should after 14 years of Conservative government. But this is a particular one that does come up with quite a lot of people. And I think cancelling the scheme but keeping the money for road maintenance, investment, tackling potholes, it's the right decision to make.
So let's just be really clear. You're saying you're going to fill in an extra 1 million potholes, but you say what you're actually going to do is ask the councils to do it and give them money to spend on roads. They may turn around and say, actually, we're not going to fill in the potholes. We've got councils all over the country who aren't able to balance the books, who are going bust. They might decide to build a car park with it. They might say that's actually something that's more important for motorists, and the potholes in those areas will still be unfilled.
No, I'm not worried about that. It's for potholes and road maintenance, and I'm fairly certain people know in local areas how urgent a priority that is. And I think alongside that wider package of measures, tackling car insurance, tackling the state of the roads, also having a proper industrial strategy for the automotive sector, that's the kind of approach to the whole sector that a Labour government would bring.
How is getting the Competition and Markets Authority involved in car insurance going to bring down the costs?
Well, I think there's real concerns about the state of the car insurance market, and particularly what it means for younger drivers, where there are incredible premiums, constituents telling us all kinds of stories about what they are faced with, as well, of course, as those wider issues around how you renew insurance in a range of sectors and what that means in terms of the price you can get, then haggle a little bit and get a better one. But I think, how that market operates, of course, I understand there's a location aspect of that in terms of the premiums and the calculation of that. But I think looking at the whole market and making sure that's operating in a way which is fair, it's not discriminating against people, and it's delivering what people need and is fair to the providers, I think this is an area that does need looking at, and I'm pleased we put it forward as a proposal today.
Keir Starmer says that he's preparing well for tonight. He knows he's done lots of interviews with Beth Rigby before. He knows he has to prepare. He doesn't look too scared. Maybe he should be. I don't know. What do you think he'll be doing this afternoon? And what do you think is the important message that he needs to get across tonight?
Well, look, we're very proud of the campaign that Labour is running, and we're focused on what Labour needs to do and not particularly on the other political parties. We know they'll be taking a pop at us. That's how it is. But I think one thing that Keir will be particularly keen to do is, there is a cynicism in the UK about the state of British politics as to whether, some people feel, frankly, there is so much going wrong. Can politics make a difference to their lives? They've experienced, unfortunately, episodes like Liz Truss and the mini budget where the political system has made their lives much harder. And what we're trying to do is get across to people that change is possible. Change can happen, things can improve, and the practical way to do that are the set of measures that Labour has put forward. So yes, we're making the case for change and the Labour Party being the vehicle to do that, but also getting across to people that politics can work for them again. The country can be better. It has been better in the past, whether it's the economy, public services. Things have deteriorated, yes, but with the proposals that Labour is putting forward in our manifesto launch tomorrow, it can be a positive experience. It can make a difference. And we're very keen to punch through some of that cynicism and get people excited about the future, because we are really confident in the message of change that we're putting forward.
OK, Jonathan Reynolds, the Shadow Business Secretary. Very good to talk to you.